What's up, rockers? Welcome to another episode of the Talk Louder podcast, where we geek out on all things rock and roll. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Leave us your likes and comments. You can also leave likes and comments on our Facebook page. Follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Instagram at talklouder_podcast, and of course our website, talklouderpodcast.com, where you'll find links to our merch and our previous episodes. I'm Metal Dave, along with my co-host Jason McMaster, and today we have Guernica Mancini.
Funny how she said, it's okay if you don't roll the R's. I like how you took that route.
Yeah, well, with her permission, I didn't want to butcher her name. So,
no, you did good. You're doing fine. I'm sure that's how everyone in America is saying her name.
Right, and so hopefully I did it justice. But
no, you're good.
Guernica is the front woman for a band called Thundermother, and they are out of Sweden, and they are currently on tour. They're in the middle of a tour with the Scorpions right now. They've got a new album out.
That's a good gig, don't you think?
That's a really good gig if you can get it. They're called Thundermother. They have a new album out called Black and Gold, and as I mentioned, they're currently making their way across the United States, opening for the Scorpions. And as many of you know, Whitesnake was originally part of that bill, and they had to pull out of the tour for some sort of health reasons. We're not real clear on that, and it doesn't really matter. But what we're talking about here is all of a sudden Thundermother becomes direct support and gets a little more stage time. It's their first tour of North America, so not a bad way to introduce yourself. And we were happy to have her speak with us a little bit today.
Yeah, it ought to be young again. You know, a rock band on the road, touring with your idols.
Yeah.
You know? And to be
I
able
don't, but
to,
you do.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But just even you could see the energy that she was having, and basically vicariously through her band Thundermother, they're having the time of their lives. They're being treated well, and which is not always how it goes. And she talks about that a little bit on the levels of a lot of festivals that they've been doing. Thundermother, like where the promoters are professional promoters and maybe not so professional promoters, where it's the difference between having a real dressing room and a tent with a bunch of Vikings in it. Oh, this is your shared dressing room. And no. And I like how she explained all of that. And they made a video that we'll talk about with her as well that sort of shows a literal cartoony way to look at that and survive that. But yeah, as I was saying, I think that that just hearing her kind of on a day off, we're lucky to have her on, talk to us on a day off about road life, and the sort of in between things and things to come and how it all kind of came down the pipe, and it's fantastic to just see a young rocker killing it on the road, first time on tour in America. It makes me want to go listen to the record even more. I did a little bit of research before this episode, and sometimes I don't even have time to do that. I'm just confessing, but I'm glad I did. And she was cool, and they're a cool band, and I like it that they're not really a metal band, and they're not just a hard rock band. They're just a rock band.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're metal, but they're not metal, and they're just hard rock, but they're not just hard rock. So there's all of this thing going on. And you mentioned something in our interview that I'll bleed into this intro, is that Sweden rocks.
Yeah. No kidding.
You know what I mean? It's like,
man,
it's like long live Sweden rock, because
how many great bands come out of Sweden.
Yeah, and they care, and everyone I've ever met from Sweden who's in a rock band or just from Sweden who's a rock fan has been the coolest. So cool. And, you know, bands like Danko Jones, his label's in Sweden. I think his wife is Swedish. He's bigger. He's bigger over there than he is in his home country of Canada. You know?
Sweden's just put out so many great rock bands over the last, I don't know, 20, 30, 25 years, whatever. And Thundermother is maybe the latest of that, you know, charge. Great bands coming out of Sweden, flying the flag for rock and roll. And their album again is called Black and Gold. They've done 4 videos for the album, so you can find a bunch of stuff on YouTube. Look them up. The videos give you. What I like about the videos is they kind of give you a good summation of what the band is about. Because some of the songs are some bangers and some hard rockers. Some of them are a little more mellow. There's a video of them just kind of having fun at a rock festival. So you've got everything from the big budget, professionally shot video to something that's a little looser and a little more, you know, just kind of having fun. And I think it's a good representation of the type of music that you'll find on the album Black and Gold. So
the disclaimer real quick. Guernica was in a hotel room somewhere in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And they're not living the full-on rock star life. I mean, just because you're the opening band for the Scorpions doesn't really mean you're at the Four Seasons. And she commented on that. But the internet, the Wi-Fi was a little dodgy. Yeah. But I guarantee our producer, Jerry Tuten, is going to do his damnedest to clean this up for you listeners and YouTubers who are fans of the show, and get at least the audio to, you know, where she answered our questions and played along with our silliness. And it'll work. So just deal with it, and it's not that terrible, and Jared will be able to clean it up. Anything else?
No, I just wanted to say that she mentions, and you'll hear this from her mouth besides mine, the Scorpions are treating them very well out on the road. So even though she had some dodgy Wi-Fi, it's not the fault of the Scorpions.
No, not at all. The Scorpions have absolutely nothing to do with their booking agent. You know, they're trying to save money. You know, everybody has to know how it is on the road. You know, just because you're the opening band for the Scorpions doesn't mean that you're becoming rich. You know. Well,
we were happy to have her. She was a lot of fun. She's got a lot of energy. She's a great singer. And we wish her continued success with Thundermother. And ladies and gentlemen, Guernica Mancini from the band Thundermother on the Talk Louder podcast. So tell us, you're having a day off, but you're currently out on the road with Scorpions. How exciting is that? I mean, geez, there's a lot of us dream of the day we get to open for the Scorpions. So
could be worse.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a bad gig. So how's it going so far? And are you getting any time to spend with the Scorpions? Or I know Mickey is a fellow Swede now that they've got Mickey D playing drums. So just kind of tell us how the tour is going and your impression of the Scorpions, if you've had any time to spend with them. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, so I would say that, first of all, it's a dream come true, of course. Like, I've been dreaming my whole life to get an opportunity like this, and I'm just so grateful that we got it this way. I mean, it's our first North American tour, so we're fully aware of how rare that opportunity is and how amazing it is that we get to be part of a big thing like this. You know, the production is huge. We've never even played arenas in Europe yet. So
you will now.
It feels like, yeah, I really hope so. I mean, the biggest thing we did was this summer when we played Wacken for like 20,000, I think it was. Mm-hmm. So you can feel how we're growing, and you feel like, yeah, I feel like I've been feeling like internally the steps that we've been taking, which is really crazy and surreal. So yes, this tour feels like a dream come true and just amazing. I'd say about the Scorpions, we haven't had time to hang out with them that much. Mickey D, the drummer, is a friend of my boyfriend, so I met him, and he's been super supportive. And he invited us to hang out after the show and stuff like that. So he's amazing. And also, the guys came in like the second day of the tour, which is super rare. Usually that doesn't happen. And they came in and said hi. There's a pretty funny video. At least my sister thought it was hilarious. Funny video when they come in and hang out with us, and we take a photo. And Klaus asked me to I wouldn't say bend over, sounds weird. That sounds like sexual.
Yeah,
he didn't say that, but he said,
hunch,
you know what I mean?
Hunch down.
Yeah, he asked me to hunch down to take a photo, and I was being all clumsy and stuff. But so that video is really funny, but that just shows how nice and cool they are. I guess we're average height in this band, but compared to Klaus and we just look like big Amazon women. But it's they've been super nice and humble, and also the crew. I think that this is, I don't know that much, but I've heard from other bands opening in similar tours that they haven't had the same kind of treatment and all these things. So for us, we've been really, everyone has been super nice. We even they've helped us out with the lights, and we even have a camera guy filming us on our gigs, so you can see us on the screens on the side. All these things that are amazing. So I'm just the crew, Scorpions, love you them forever. And just, wow, what a team. And also how impressive it is to see them at the age that they are, giving a show at that level and the energy every night is really, really impressive. And I hope that I can do the same when I'm at that age and, be at that, be as great as they are. So it's really cool. It's a good learning experience, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I'll second that. I've seen the Scorpions a number of times in recent years, and they are still at the top of their game. Just amazing. So Whitesnake was originally part of this tour, and they had to drop out. So what kind of adjustments did you have to make? All of a sudden, your direct support for the Scorpions. Did that require you to expand your set list, and maybe you get more stage space? Do you go on later? That had to be sort of a last minute adjustment for you, was it?
Well, we got to play 10 more minutes, which we were really happy about. To be completely honest, and it's been great for us. I hate the fact that we don't get to see Whitesnake, because we're all big fans, and we were really excited to get to know them all and meet fellow musicians and legends as well. But it's been to our advantage. Maybe that's bad to say, but you know what I mean? We've gone 10 more minutes. We've gotten, I don't know. I don't know how it would be if we were 3 bands on the bill, but they've treated us amazingly, and I am sad that we don't get to work with them and be part of the same, tour. But as for Thundermother, we were ready to take on that responsibility.
Yeah.
What is it they say? Luck is when you mean opportunity and preparation. I feel like we were prepared to take on that role, even though nobody and very few people know about us here in America. We've been touring a lot in Europe and doing a lot in Europe, so we were definitely prepared to be able to play a big stage and take care of an audience of that size and stuff like that. And so it's a weird thing. I'm grateful that we have this opportunity to do it this way, but I'm also bummed out, of course, and also health reasons. We never really got any explanation to what happened, but health reasons, regardless of what it is, I'm just hoping that it's nothing too severe, and that whoever is feeling or having problems will be better soon.
Right.
Yeah, David Coverdale's having some kind of upper respiratory issues. and I don't.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's obviously affecting his singing, but I see his tweets all the time, you know. So he's enjoying himself. I don't think that he's out of the woods, but I don't think that he's bedridden, you know.
Yeah.
No.
I was gonna say,
I wasn't sure if it was only him or someone else in the band. I mean, COVID is still around, or it could be anything really. But I guess, I don't know. I'm just grateful that we got this opportunity.
Sure,
I can't really say anything else. And if he's enjoying his life and, you know, recovering the best way he can, then good for him.
Yeah. I love the way you handled that question, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, this is a great opportunity. If sorry, Whitesnake, but we get more stage time and we probably get to go on a little later. So I've been in that position before, like with a knock on the dressing room door. Hey, can you guys play an hour? We're like, what? You know, we're in the dressing room relearning some of the, you know, the rest of our record. And we have to add, you know, 5 more songs or whatever. It was quite. It happened in the middle of a tour. It wasn't like there was no preparation, there was no extra rehearsal or anything. So, the good thing about it is that you are prepared. Like that's the best part of your answer to me, is like, you're ready for anything. You're ready to play 20 minutes. Yeah. You're ready to play 50 minutes because of what?
We could play 90, to be completely honest. Like, that's what we're used to doing. So playing 40 minutes is super, it's just easy. I don't know. It's like not. Yeah. Yeah. We're having a good time.
You could stay up late. The 40-minute set, I don't even have to go to bed. Yeah.
So you
I know. I'm drinking beer right now, but I actually don't. I can't drink during like the days that we play and stuff.
Show day, right?
Show days.
Yeah.
Show days is like not, and then I'm thinking this is like day drinking. Then I'll cut it off at a time where I can start drinking water and be good.
Yeah. Hydrate.
Anyways.
Yeah. So you said. You said this is your first tour of America, is that right?
Yes. It is.
What was, I always enjoy asking bands from overseas when they first come to America, what was your first impression of America? Because I used to live overseas when I was younger. My father was in the Air Force. And I know there can be like a culture shock, because everything in America is just huge, and the drives between gigs, I'm guessing, are much longer than you're used to. What was your impression of America?
Well, I lived in Los Angeles for 4.5 years, from 2007 to 2012, because I went to Musicians Institute. And I studied at UCLA a bit, extension courses. But anyway, I lived in Los Angeles, and this time around, like, I know what to expect. I've lived here. I love America, and I really enjoy the people and everything. Like, you know, all that stuff is really fun, and I know the girls feel the same way. But when I first moved here in 2007, and everything was very new to me, but that was like an LA thing. I don't know if that's the same for everywhere, but it was really hard to get used to, like, how people always say, like, hi, how are you doing? And like, nobody really actually cares about the answer. And that was like a hard thing for me to get into, you know, like, you don't have to answer anyone. You just have to be like, hi, yeah, bye. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a quick little interaction. Whereas me coming from Sweden, I'm like, I'm good. Like, I want to, like, you know, if you ask me, I want to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And everyone just does it here. So I remember that being a weird thing way back when I went there first.
Well, when you get to Texas, Texas is known for its hospitality. So if people ask how you're doing, I'm sure they'll genuinely want to hear how you're doing. Your new album, Black and Gold, is the third album with you on vocals. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so before we talk about the album specifically, take me through this is now the third album. So explain to me the growth between the self-titled album and then was it Heatwave? and then now up to Black and Gold. For you as a vocalist, what kind of growth has taken place, and how has your approach to singing and how has the approach to the songwriting among the band members? How is take me through from the self-titled to now.
Yeah, that's a really good question. The first album, it was when I joined the band in 2017. Philippe had already written most of the songs. I was able to, I don't know, get a line here and there, but it was not I wasn't part of the creative process in the same way. And I was obviously very new to the band. And I don't know, I think that I wouldn't say confident. I've been confident in my singing, but I've evolved as a singer throughout the albums. But working that album we did with a producer that was kind of like, oh, that's good. Like he thought everything was like good enough. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas on Heatwave, we worked with Søren Andersen. He's also produced Black and Gold, and we love him. He's been able to like pull stuff out of all of us that we didn't even know we had in us. You know what I mean? Like he really gets the best out of everyone, and like he can like hear things that you don't know you can do and like suggest it and be like, okay, you try to do this. And then that way, like I've evolved so much as a singer, just working with him. So I would say like from Thundermother, I wasn't part of the songwriting process. I just went in and did what I could at that time, and I hadn't toured as much with the band. Whereas on Heatwave, we then have been touring for a few years together, becoming more of a solid band. And it was the first time that we all were involved in all the songwriting.
Right.
And I remember, just like a side story to Heatwave, is that I remember when Philippe went to Denmark to have a songwriting session with Søren, and I had just found out that I had a tumor. I mean, I had a tumor, blah blah blah. So I wasn't really aware, like I wasn't sure of what was going to happen. Like everything was just upside down, and we went on the songwriting thing, and we wrote Driving in Style. And I remember, I'm going to sing all these demos. Like, if this is the last thing I do, I'm going to fucking murder this, vocally in the booth, so at least I leave something great behind me. So that's the demo vocals that you hear on the single and, on the record, which I'm really proud of. But it was such a mind fuck to be in that state while writing the song and all these things. And then, I'm good now. I took it out. Then I had a relapse last year, but it's all good and gone and blah, blah, blah. So I'm healthy and good. But it's a weird, process being in that, writing and trying to be creative and all these things. And then I think that on Black and Gold, we even more so, like 5 years touring together, 5 years being a part of this band, doing everything together, being equals, I think before maybe Philippe had been more of the leader of the pack kind of thing, or Philippe was a founding mother, right, our guitar player. Now, since both me and Emily joined, the drummer, we've been like, if we're going to be part of this band, we're going to be equal. Like, it's like, I mean, either we're equals or we're session players. Like, that's the bottom line. So she's been totally cool with that. And from day one, we've been creating and doing all these things together. And I think that has also created that magic, like where it's like, it's obvious that we have clear influences and we don't, it's obvious. There's nothing that we feel ashamed about. It's just that now we get to mix them up in a way where I think it's a fresh new mix.
Yeah.
Whereas before, Filippa was more like, AC/DC, I want to, AC/DC is my, I want to sound like a female AC/DC type thing.
Yeah.
And it's clear. And now it's more like we all come from different musical backgrounds. And when we write together, you then get a more interesting mix and a more unique sound coming from a new band, with clear influences. And I also think that that's something I'm super proud of, because if we want to be the next AC/DC or be the next Foo Fighters, whatever, like big band, arena band, you can't just copy what they've already done. You need to actually like mix it up and do something of your own with it. So I think that we've been able to do that more and more. So on Heatwave, we started that process, and now we're doing it even more so on Black and Gold. And Black and Gold, we're even being more like, because I know Filippa doesn't really usually want to sing about like negative feelings, whereas I'm kind of like, writing for me is like you know, you get the feelings out kind of thing. So we have some more aggressive lyrics. Yeah, it's therapy. So you have some more aggression and all these things, which I really appreciate, because life is ups and downs. It's not all good times. I mean, that would be ridiculous. Nobody is all happy all the time. Then something's wrong with that person.
Yeah, you have to worry. You have to worry about the happy people not facing their demons.
Yeah, you need to. You need to face your demons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you do? Am I counting correctly? Did you do 5 videos for the new album? I think I counted 5.
We've done Watch Out.
Black and Gold.
We've done Black and Gold. Black and Gold, and
I Don't Know You.
We did the cartoon I Don't Know You, Hot Mess, and then we've done Loud and Free. Yeah, 5 videos. Yeah.
Okay, so my point was
that's a new thing.
Yeah, I mean that just goes to show the push that you're putting behind this album. I think it's unusual, especially these days, for a band to put out 5 videos to promote a record. And I love the videos. They're great. They're very mixed. The Loud and Free looks like you're just having a good time at a festival. And some of the other ones look like they were a little more structured. But I want to talk about I Don't Know You, the animated video.
Let's.
I think it's awesome. I want to know who is the guy in the Kreator T-shirt. Who does he represent?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I have to say, it's just we have nothing but love for Kreator, the band. So it's not anything bad towards them.
Yeah.
But we've been to, like most bands, you do everything. Like you do big festivals, you do small festivals, especially at our level, you do everything, and it's very up and down. And you get to these festivals that are very like home organized and like, I don't know how to say this in English, but it's very mixed and match. It's like highs and lows all the time. Like you play this huge show and then you quickly get humbled again, like get down, like you're here now. You're not that big rock star just yet. So we play these festivals in Germany. I feel like we've been in every little town in Germany there is, basically, which I love, and it's been a great experience. But at some of these festivals, they don't really understand that the dressing rooms or the backstage area is actually like, it's technically our home for the day. So, and they just happen to usually have Kreator T-shirts and vests on. I don't know if that's a German thing or not, but it just traumatized Mona, our bass player, so much at one festival. She got like frozen in a corner. She just didn't know what to do with herself, and that became like a joke in the band. That's why we said that was like her experience, and like sometimes it is a little like re-traumatizing when that happens, when you just like, oh my god, that it's like a saying in the band. It's like that Kreator vibe of just these fans that are really just like, they just don't understand. But nothing but love for the band, and it was just a funny thing. And I think we're actually signed to the same label, so the label was fine with us putting it out there.
Oh, of course.
I just love the fact that he's wearing a Kreator T-shirt.
Yeah.
So
is that the same in America? Do they, like, a lot of people at festivals wear like Kreator T-shirts and vests?
I have this theory about European festivals. I grew up reading English and European heavy metal magazines, And, you know, in the early 80s, like 80, 81, 82, early Kerrang magazine, stuff like that, Sounds magazine, whatever. And so I was hearing about, you know, this is what I could call pre-Metallica. So I was reading about, you know, anything that was coming out of Europe pre-Metallica. And even back then, they would show these photos from European festivals, and there were all of these people in the audience with their battle jackets on, right? I didn't know if they called them that back then, but there's just patches all over them, you know, like they've been to every concert and seen every band, and they have a closet full of these battle vests because they buy patches all the time because they go right. Well, I learned later on when I've played some of these festivals that it's their umbrella. The jacket itself is their pillow. It's their umbrella. It's their blanket.
Multifaceted wear.
It's their It's their purse. You know, it's their backpack. It's they have pockets, and you know, that's how they live for the 3 days they're at this festival.
Yeah.
And I feel like in America, that was never a thing. It was a trend that was copied by Americans by seeing it in European heavy metal magazines or music magazines. I really believe this. Myself, I followed the trend myself. Yeah, I have multiple battle jackets because being an old school metalhead, I was seeing that going, oh, that's cool. I gotta make me one of those, you know. So in America, even now, I think you might see someone who works on the crew, the backstage area, that might have that. But usually a bigger festival event, they'll have professional company badge shirts where, you know, the security, they look like a team, you know, or they're dressed for the part. They're not trying to sort of alienate anyone that's actually there. They're trying to make comfortable because they're the artist, you know. So your video is fucking hilarious because it's a guy working for a festival, but he's like alienated. He's like, what the fuck, you know? So kind of creeping you guys out. And I've been in the, you know, you'll notice it's, especially with the Scorpions, I'm sure you're not going to run into many people wearing you know, anything kind of menacing or alienating. I'm sure you'll be around, you know, company people who are wearing proper gear with, you know, proper radios going, yeah, I'll bring the catering in the next 30 minutes, no problem. You know, it'll be like stuff like that. It won't be like, hey, man, you know, hey, lurking around your tent, you know.
Well, I loved it, and it caught.
No, exactly.
Yeah. It caught my eye right away because I just loved.
Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was funny.
Kreator,
I was trying to figure it out at first. Like, oh, is it a fan or is it? Oh shit, it's someone like, you know, Frankensteining around the, you know, roar, you know, kind of like becoming this annoying personality. I had to figure it out at first, but that made it funny.
Yeah, and Kreator.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
we really want to try to. I mean, I feel like we have good like humor in the band, and we try to. If you follow us on Instagram and stuff like that, we try like that's who we are as people. So it was never anything to be offensive or anything. It was just a funny, lighthearted thing where it's like, yeah, we're sharing a trauma situation, but in a fun way, you know, like.
Of course.
It happened.
Yeah.
Some people just don't know, you know, these social things.
So I wanted to also ask about the song "Hot Mess" because I feel like it's a little bit different than your overall sound. It's a I don't know. I don't want to say that it's got a pop slant to it, but it's not as hard rocking as most of your tunes. So what was the inspiration for Hot Mess, and just tell us a little bit about that song because I find it to be sort of the one that stands out as being different on the album.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, no, it is.
I think that when we wrote it, it was me Filippa, Søren, and Emily, we were actually at my house when we wrote like we had a few writing days and we wrote that one song. I just really wanted to write a love song because we don't have any, and I think that's really challenging to write about love. And Emily, the drummer, she never wants to write about love. Like, she's very anti. If it's a ballad, she wants it to be like the opposite. Like, she wants it to be. So we had to find like a middle ground, and then we ended up Hot Mess happened, that song. I don't know. I think that when we did write a lot of the stuff on the material, like this album, not only Hot Mess, we did have the American market in mind. I feel like it has like a little like Americana vibe to it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's what you guys call it over there.
No, I think
like, I wouldn't say country or southern rock, but like a little bit of like, it's a completely different vibe. But we all really like that kind of music. So we wanted to write a song in that field too, and also to be able to showcase that we can do a lot of different things. I think that's one of the main things that happened with Heatwave when we all started writing together, is that we like branched out a little bit and we're not so confined to just like AC/DC or like that. However amazing that music is, it does get a little like claustrophobic for a creative person.
Yeah, the AC/DC curve, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. I mean, as much as we love it, and I know Filippa dies for that music, like that's her always the go-to, and it's a part of our DNA as a band. We'll never lose that. I think it's really nice to be able to showcase different sides of your creativity, and we all like that vibe of music. Like on Heatwave, we have Sleep, which is very like Aerosmith, also has like that kind of vibe to it. So I don't know. I think that if you can, why not? And I'm excited for like when we do our own tour, be able to have a little a little piece of the show where I can do some ballads and really like showcase my range and my abilities as a singer, because it's everyone else in the band get their own little moments. So I'm excited to be able to do that too for our spring tour.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
You mentioned your own shows. You're doing some club dates in between the Scorpion shows, or at least I'm aware of one in Austin, Texas. You're playing at Stubbs. Are you doing headline shows in between Scorpions dates? And if so, how are those going?
We've done 2 so far, and they haven't gone great, to be completely honest, because we had such a stressful time getting the visas. So, I mean, we missed the first show due to our passports not, getting to us on time, which sucked. So the visa thing has really, it just messed everything up for us. So we haven't been able to properly promote our own stuff as much as we would have wanted to. So we have one left now at Stubbs in Austin. And yeah, we posted about it the other day, and we're going to keep posting and see if more people show up, because I feel like since we didn't make it, we didn't really advertise it, do anything about it. It's hard for people to even know we're having solo shows, because for us, it was just like, we just need to get over here and then we'll sort it out as we go. And That's kind of how it's been. So I'm hoping that whenever we come back and maybe do a solo tour or stuff like that, we're going to be able to do it much more organized and get our visas on time and everything. But yeah, we are playing at Stubbs in Austin, and I'm hoping that we will sell out. I don't know, it'll be fun.
Yeah, and well, it's on a Friday night, so that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
How did you've been with the band for a number of years now, but you're not the original singer. So how did you find Filippa, and how did you guys find each other and come up with this version of the lineup?
Well, Filippa and me, well, Sweden is a very, very big country. So whoever is like really working hard on their music, eventually they'll meet. So we were like friends, and we had met. Filippa had another band, a blues band, and my previous band opened for her, and we just had a bunch of mutual friends, and we were in the same scene and blah blah blah. So when my then bass player quit my previous band, which these things happen to every band all the time, I reached out to all people I knew, Filippa being one of them. And in that conversation, I was like trying to get some advice, like, do you know any bass players, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, actually, we were having some problems too, but she didn't want to say what the problems were. So me being the person that I am, I just threw it out there. I was like, well, if you ever need a singer, I'm here and I'm very interested. So she was like, yeah, do you want to audition? So like 2 months later, I auditioned for the band, and yeah, within a week I had the gig, and then she more or less found Emily, and yeah, we've been a solid trio since then, because obviously we've had issues with bass players, but I feel like that's just how it is, you know, Spinal Tap, the drummers just keep dying. That's kind of how it is for us. Like the bass players are hard to keep for some reason. But I mean, there's no hard feelings. It's all good. It's like people want to do whatever they want to do. And now our bass player is actually a guitar player. So I'm guessing she will stick around and be super. I mean, she's amazing. Moana is her name. The Moana is her artist name. And it's been really good. So I really feel like since she now joined the band last year, we're 4 people with the same type of work ethic, same type of ambition, you know, like all these things. So it feels really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about Sweden, but Sweden has produced some of the best rock bands. I mean, as a country, I think about it, and you've had the Backyard Babies forever, the Helicopters, Crash Diet, Veins of Jenna, Crucified Barbara. I mean, the list is just amazing of quality bands. Ghost, okay. So what is it about Sweden? What is it? What's going on over there? Is it the weather? Is there something in the water?
I think there's several things, but like the weather, absolutely. The weather is shit, so playing music and staying inside, activities inside are very much appreciated. But also the government has a lot of good funding. Like they really support culture, and from a very young age, regardless of your background, if you have money, if you don't, like there's possibilities for you to have to take classes in, you know, any instrument you want to try or whatever you're into, and as well as like getting rehearsal spaces for, I mean, basically for free. As long as you just fill out this form, you can get rehearsal spaces for either like really, really cheap or for free, and it all depends on how you go about it. But yeah, the Swedish government is responsible for that, I'd say, because we get the support, and we get really like pushed to regardless of like, even if it's not your like dream or anything, everyone gets pushed to try something within culture, you know, like music or arts or whatever. Like really it's important to have that like creative outlet, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And obviously it's showing in the world, in the export of Swedish music, because it's not just in rock, it's everything. It's like songwriters. There's so much talent coming out of Sweden, and I think that's a huge reason why.
Yeah, it seems like the Swedish government, they realize in the back of this process, surely they realize this, they're creating jobs for people.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've heard that before from other guests that we've had on the show from overseas. You know, and I tend to forget it because living in America, we don't have that here. But
no.
we've had guests from Canada and Sweden and the UK, and there is sort of a support system in place at the federal level, the government level.
Not in America.
That we don't have here. Right, exactly. Well, I'm glad that you have it, because
yes.
Give my thanks to the Swedish
government. I don't think they have it in the UK either.
No.
Well, give my thanks to the Swedish government, because they've been cranking out some great rock and roll lately.
We are fans of the Swedish government.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more questions. If Jason has anything, he can chime in. I wanted to know how you got hooked on rock and roll. What was the specific moment when you decided that's what I want to do for a living?
It's hard for me to. It's a great question, but it's really hard for me to answer, because it's like I always listen to all kinds of music, but when I'm going to try to like not give you an hour answer here, but this could be a podcast in itself, just that question.
This question is the reason we have a podcast.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, but to be completely honest, I've always I grew up in a musical home. Like music, I've listened to all kinds of music at all the, throughout my entire life. I've had phases and I don't know if it's growing up in the 90s, but we were the generation that started with the singles and the greatest hits and stuff. So I don't feel like we are properly, I listened to that album and that album. We did, but it wasn't, the whole Spotify thing and the single thing started with us there. And I listened to, pop music and all this, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward to, I've been singing my entire life, and in Sweden, I never had teachers that could properly help me. I have a naturally raspy voice, and in that same phase, I started hanging out with a lot of sleaze rockers or whatever, people my age that dressed like Motley Crue in the 80s, basically, and that was the whole scene I was in my early, 18, 19, that age-ish. And so at that time also, then I moved to Los Angeles to go to Musicians Institute. So I got help from teachers to figure out my voice, because before I had teachers that put me in speech therapist classes, because they wanted to always try to put me, try to get me to sing all these other things that never worked for my voice. Because I was either a little hoarse all the time, a little raspy, pop music didn't work for me and all these things. So when I moved to LA and I went to MI and I was hanging out with all these people, I started getting into 80s rock quite a lot, hair metal and all these things. And I was kind of I'm gonna try to sing this, and I found that I really like Skid Row because I thought it was a little more metal and a little more groovy and heavy. So I got into that more than Poison and all that other stuff that was a little more soft, I thought at the time. But so I started, or not started, but I felt like I could relate more to Sebastian Bach's vocals. So when I had a teacher, I started singing Skid Row songs, Still Youth Gone Wild is a song that I started trying to, I could do that, and I can push myself. And yeah, he's just one of those singers that I felt that I could relate to. So I guess forever, Sebastian Bach is going to be really meaningful to me and my singing abilities as a rock performer, because before I was just trying everything. And then once I found that, I was just wow, I can really evolve. I can do more. I can do this. And oh, wow, I can do this scream and I can do all these extreme vocals without hurting myself. And it's nothing weird. It's just having the right tools to take care of it. So yeah.
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 Well, you can't go wrong with Sebastian Bach as an inspiration.
No.
Guy could definitely sing.
And people suggesting that you need the way that you explained it was almost they were telling you something was wrong with your voice because they were diagnosing it as being naturally raspy or trying to turn you into a Disney pop princess or something, which is
that did not happen.
Right. Well, and not that there's anything wrong with that either for someone else, right? The idea.
No, I know, but it's not to know. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
It's okay. That's all right. Just the idea that you recognized the tone of your voice and you were able to like sort of go, well, this style I'm attracted to and my voice fits. Just means that the universe was telling you where to go a little bit, and your heart too. And your heart too, man.
And that's the same thing when I started writing everything. I took songwriting classes, and I did really well. I won some songwriting competitions, but whatever.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, but it was all like everything that came was blues rock. It was everything that I was writing. It was just like, and I've never specifically listened to blues. I've listened to a lot of Motown and R&B and soul and all that stuff. But when I started writing, it was all blues rock. And that's the same in Thundermother. I think I brought some more soul and blues to the band. And it's something that just comes from the heart. It might sound cheesy, but I agree with you, and I feel the same way. I feel like it was kind of presented to me like from the universe, because I was putting classes where they were just like, you need to go to a speech therapist. They were telling me I was speaking wrong on my vocal cords, and I had to do all these things. Like I filmed my vocal cords for an entire year, and I figured out that my default vocal cords are damaged, like a little bit damaged, which gives me the character that I have, which I'm really grateful for. But I have to take care of the voice in a different way. That's why, you guys are seeing me drinking beer now, but that's not the norm. I definitely need to be a little more careful. Yeah, I just have such a great love for all kinds of music, and I really feel at home in that genre, and I really hope that we're going to be part of like a new renaissance of rock. You know what I mean? Like, because I think it's needed and it's awesome and it's for everyone. And yeah. It's just where my heart is.
Well, if Black and Gold is any indication, I think you've got a future in front of you. It's a solid album. It sounds good. It does cover a lot of bases, like you said. So congratulations on that. And I'm going to put you on the spot before we let you go. I have one last question. And because you're out on tour with the Scorpions, I have to ask you, what is your favorite Scorpions album?
Album? Do I need to know the albums?
Or song?
I don't know any albums, to be completely honest. But I really like that Tease Me song right now.
Tease Me, please.
You know that one? Yeah. Tease me.
Yeah.
Please. You know that song. Yeah, I'm not very good at remembering titles and stuff, but yes, I think that song is really fun.
That's from like
Savage
90.
Amusement.
That came out in like 1990.
Yeah, I think that's the Savage Amusement record.
So when we opened for the Scorpions in 91, it was a one-off. We closed our set with our song, Dave, Teasin' Pleasin', and they opened with Tease Me, Please Me. I was like, wait a minute.
There's a whole lot of teasing going on there.
Yeah, but Celtic Frost has a song called the same thing, so thought it was kind of funny.
We have a song called. We also have a Tease song. It's just a Tease, but we are not playing that song. Yeah, it's from a previous, before my time, but we still play it. But I'm sorry, I didn't look this up. But what band did you play in?
I was referring to a band that I'm in called Dangerous Toys.
Oh, okay. So you guys opened for Scorpions.
Yeah, I it was a one-off. It was right before we were starting a tour with Judas Priest and Alice Cooper.
Wow.
And that would have been summer of 91. And Trickster was Scorpions' opening band. Like they were the new kids kind of. I think they had one record out, maybe two. Do you remember Trickster?
To be completely honest,
It's
I have
fine.
never heard of Trickster.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Can
fine.
you sing something? Can you sing something?
No. So
No? Okay.
Trickster, I think that one of them, they had a family emergency. It's one of those things, it was last minute, you know, and the Scorpions were in El Paso, Texas, and we were at home between things in Austin, and we got the call, and they were like, hey, Scorpions need you guys. So we drove to El Paso, and it was a one-off. But then I opened for the Scorpions in a completely different band. It was a reunion show I did with an old band I was in called Watchtower, and we played Bang Your Head Festival with the Scorpions. So that was in Germany. This is so long ago.
I was going to say, this isn't the first time Jason and I have been reminded how old we are.
Yeah. Thanks. It's not even her fault. Yeah,
I know. Yeah. She probably wasn't even born when Savage Amusement came out.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah, 90, and then the Watchtower gig, the Bang Your Head, was in like 2001. So it's so long ago.
Well, we're young at heart. Okay. Yeah. Guernica, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope I said your name correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And we wish you continued success with the Scorpions and on your own. Black and Gold is the title of the new album. Go check it out. Thundermother is the name of the band. They are out on tour with the Scorpions. And if you're in the Austin, Texas area, they're playing Stubbs on September 23rd. So you can look for them in a club sometime and possibly coming back in the spring, maybe. So we'll keep our eyes open for that.
Yeah. It was awesome talking to you both, and I want to apologize for the internet, but it's tour life, and I apologize. But
that's okay.
This was awesome. Really nice conversation.
Well, the pleasure was ours. Thank you for joining us, and we'll let you get back to that senior citizens pool party now.
Yeah. Enjoy your day off with the gray hairs. Yeah.
They're probably doing karaoke now.
Hey, you'll fit right in. There you go. All right. Thank you so much. On behalf of my co-host, Jason McMaster, I'm Metal Dave Glessner, along with our special guest today, Guernica Mancini, front woman for the band Thundermother, on the Talk Louder podcast today.